is Terry Coutu with IKnowJAX, and recently I had the pleasure of meeting with Lawrence and Jody Frederick from the world-famous frisbee dogs, Disconnected Canines. They have been providing entertainment and competing in frisbee competitions for more than 20 years, and are currently at the Clay County Fair every single day providing some wonderful entertainment and shows. So Lawrence, tell me a little bit about what Disconnected Canines is and what it's all about.
Well, I've actually been playing frisbee for 44 years now, and that tells you a little bit about how old I am. Disconnected Canines has been officially around since 1997, and we're actually a group of people that have rescued frisbee dogs. All of our dogs are rescued. We get them from different environments all over the country. We do professional shows around the world, and we also compete at the highest caliber. We have 3 different world champions and 11 different world finalists on our team currently.
Wow, that is impressive. And Jody, how long have you been involved? Have you been following him through this, or was this something you were interested in before you met him, or?
I grew up with white fluffy dogs, and when I met him at the age of 47, I learned that big dogs are fun, and I helped him with shows like for the first 2.5 years, and I said, wait a minute, I can do this too. So I got my first frisbee dog. Her name is Bella. And when I committed to the sport, I had her paws tattooed on my back.
Aw, that's cool. I might have to get a picture of that. So tell me, what kind of dog makes a good frisbee dog? Is there a certain type that's better than others, or have you found that that it just kind of depends on the personality of the dog? What do you look for?
Well, there's certain breeds that are dominant in the sport: Border Collies, Australian Shepherds, Australian Cattle Dogs, Jack Russells, but basically, and a lot of mixed breeds that are very hyperactive. You're looking for the longer legs, the elongated bodies, the high prey drive. Mostly our dogs are dogs that people really don't want in their homes because they are so hyperactive.
Now, Lawrence, you were saying that the dogs that you guys use are all rescue dogs. So how do you find these dogs? Do you get them from shelters or from people surrendering them? And how do you know that they're going to be a good dog for frisbee?
Our dogs have come from all types of environment: rescued organizations, shelters, humane societies. We've got homeless dogs that were picked up off the streets. People call us up and say, hey, look, I got this dog I've got to get rid of. So they come from just about every possible imaginable background, and all of them have one thing in common, that their original owners no longer wanted them.
Wow, so you're giving them a whole new life.
Yeah, and they've given us a little special life too.
Now, Jody, how long does it normally take for you to work with the dog and get them actually catching a frisbee, and then get them to where they're ready to start competing?
Well, most of the dogs, we interview the dogs, and within 10 minutes of meeting the dog, we know if they're going to catch a frisbee, because they have like just a attraction for moving objects. If the dog has an attraction for moving objects, we can teach it to catch a frisbee, just like Midget over here. And the thing is, most of the dogs, if they're adult dogs when we get them, usually in 2 to 3 months, they can open up a show. If it's a puppy when we get them, it normally takes about a year and a half, because their growth plates have to harden, and they have to mature before they can do all the tricks and stuff that we do in the shows.
And just to take one thing more there, it's important in obedience. Obedience is paramount with what we do, because they have to be able to be in a mental state where the noises and the distractions of children, the other dogs, and all the different elements that we get involved in, that's where the obedience comes in. They all have that prey drive and they all want to play, but you have to channel it, and they have to understand that the reward is catching the frisbee, not running over and licking the ice cream off the little girl's face in the front row.
You want to keep them focused. They need to be focused.
Exactly, and that means we have to be more fun than the surroundings that they're currently in. So we have got to take that and elevate it to the most fun that they can possibly have, and that's where the discipline and the obedience and the training comes into being.
Just watching you with the dogs, it seems like while they do have to be obedient, they also have to be very fit, don't they?
Yes, and here's the thing that you have to consider. They've done a lot of physiological studies on these dogs. If they're doing fly ball, or they're doing agility, or they're doing dock diving or whatever, there's really not a whole lot of physical skill that needs to be involved. But there's only 2 sports where the human being has to have just as good, if not better, physical attributes than a dog, and that's the Itorods and frisbee. Because in order for it to be a team, you have to have the conditioning, you have to have the throwing skills, you have to have the teamwork and the camaraderie. You do have to have a great degree degree of physical ability and training and athleticism in our sport.
Well, I'd say that watching you and Jody, you guys train as much, if not more, than the dogs. You're really working hard out there. So, Jody, if someone has a dog and they want to get involved in Frisbee, what do they do? Who do they call? Where do they get some additional information?
There are a lot of good websites out there. I mean, the internet is a wonderful thing. If you Google Frisbee dogs, probably the first thing you're going to find is disconnected canines. But there are a lot of training videos out there on how to get your dog started. And, you know, the most important thing is to get a good Frisbee for your dog, because some of the Frisbees out there are very hard plastic and they break, and they're actually dangerous objects for the dogs to play with. So you need to get on the internet and be educated before you get out there and, you know, just get any Frisbee and start throwing Frisbee for your dog.
The other thing that I would like to add to that is that you should always make sure that your dog's in physical enough condition to start doing this, as well as you, okay? Not telling you need to go to get a physical, but you know, it's like anything else. You want to start out slow, you want to start out easy. Always make sure you play in a safe, responsible place for your dogs, meaning you don't want to play next to a street, you don't want to play where there's a lot of foreign objects on the ground, and you want to keep it fun for the dog. That's the most important thing, is to keep it fun, and in the beginning, keep your training sessions very short, and by that I mean a minute, 2-3 minutes maximum.
Wow. And so I've gone on the internet, I've done some research, I'm playing with my dog. If I need some additional help, are there people that'll help train my dog with me?
Well, the Disconnected Canines offer a training environment in 2 different methods. Number one is we do classes where we typically have between 20 and 25 people and their dogs in it. It's a 7-week class, and it's structured into beginning level, intermediate, and advanced, or what we call the pro levels. And we also do training with people who fly in from all over the United States. I mean, you look at our facility, and it's a state-of-the-art facility in the country. There's nothing, actually probably in the world, there's nothing that comes close to what we have here. We've had people from all over the world come here and train with us. So the idea is to find someone who can teach you how to do this responsibly, teach you how to do the throws correctly, and then walk you through the process of getting your dog to have the comfort and the trust to be able to do some of these tricks, because you never want to violate the trust, because if the dog gets hurt or gets scared, they'll never do that trick again.
Very good. Well, I am looking forward to seeing you guys at work, or play, I guess it is, with the dogs. And I want to thank you so much for taking this time. I really appreciate it. Where can people go to make sure that they can follow you? And do your dogs have fan clubs?
Actually, they do. It's so funny. We're on www.k9 caninefrisbee.com. We are actually on Facebook, disc-connected canines. We're out there officially now, and you can start liking us. But those would be like the ways to keep in touch with us the most. Obviously, we try to answer as many personal emails as we get. But yes, all the dogs do have fan clubs. They remember all the dogs' names, but after 44 years, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who knows my name.
Well, thank you again, Lawrence and Jody. I really appreciate it, and best of luck as you continue your travels and your competitions. Thank you.
Thank you.